Oh, that happened really quickly. There was no countdown.
We're live.
We are live. Normally there's like a 5-second countdown. That really took us by surprise. So for anyone watching this evening, welcome to Karen Hudson, who's joined us tonight. How are you, Karen?
I'm very well. Thank you for inviting me. Super excited to be here. Feels like such a long time since I was here last. So I was really
excited. Well, I know how super busy you've been. You've just been like holding the Buybot Pro, Profit Protector, online arbitrage deals.com fort down, and you've been holding it down. And you've been getting everyone unsuspended and ungated. And actually, are you seriously, are you part of Amazon? Are you secretly running it for Jeff?
Dear God, no, please.
No, are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I'm definitely sure, thanks.
Okay, well, the good news is we are live. We're getting comments, but unfortunately, they look like they don't have names attached to them. Can you see them, Karen?
Yeah, I can see them, but I don't know. That doesn't say names.
Yeah, someone's just said Karen, the greatest of all time. Absolutely agree. Yes. No. Do you know what? I thought I'd better clarify that just in case. Yeah, no. GOAT means greatest of all time.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we don't know who said it yet, unfortunately. So everyone's coming in saying evening. Guys, we are on new software tonight. It was the lovely Matt Webley decided with no notice whatsoever that we wanted to try some new software out. So not that we'd had big issues with Be Live or anything like that whatsoever, but this is something that's, a little bit more innovative. We're going to be able to live stream to YouTube at the same time. Ordinarily, we can't do it tonight because I'm in charge of it. But look, you can see up in the corner, I don't know where it is. You can see we've got like a little banner up there and we've got our names here. Now, we should be able to see people's names, but for some reason we can't. So apologies for that. I've got a funny feeling people do need to go in and register so it shows their names. But I'm going to find out a little bit more about that.
I've just opened Facebook, so I'm good. I can see everyone on Facebook.
Okay, I'm gonna do that quickly. So why don't you while I'm doing that, Karen, why don't you tell us how busy you are and everything that's kind of like going on in your world, kind of thing?
Well, I think things are really busy. Things are going well. I'm super excited about the Buybot Pro mobile app that is going to be coming out soon-ish. It's in the final stages of development, so I'm super excited with that. That's taking up a lot of time because we're really involved in that and getting that just as we want it. So that's really exciting. And obviously Doddled as well. So we're working behind the scenes on Doddled. Got a few beta testers now, so ironing out the initial bumps and stuff. So that's like been super exciting and loving doing that as well. And then obviously we're looking after the other stuff as well. Pro and Profit Protector Pro and everything else. So yeah, it's all good. It's exciting times, definitely. Busy, but I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you wouldn't have it any other way, Karen. I know you like to be busy. You like to be kept busy, kept on your toes with everyone. And this lot certainly keep you on your toes.
Definitely does. I miss being on here, I have to say. I've really missed it because it's nice to see everyone and chat to everybody, and I've not been able to do that for ages. So yeah,
no, absolutely. Well, you are more than welcome to come on at any time. Do you know what? I think I should have a night off one night, and I think you and Matt should do it one night, actually. I think
one day, maybe.
Yeah, I think that would be good. But yeah, no, you're always welcome to come on at any time. And it's always a pleasure to have you. So let's say good evening to people. So Matt Cromie says, hi, both. Hi, Matt. Evening, David. Evening, Fran. Evening, Daisy. Hi, Ray. Hi, Christos. Oh, it was Christos that gave you the GOAT acronym. So evening, Donna. Hi, Paul. Corin. Matt Webley. David. Radu. Sean. Indra. Ray says, I want to be doddled.
One day, Ray, one day.
Yeah, it will be coming soon. Bow's joined us, and so has Stephen. So it's been crazy in terms of Amazon. Always is. It's never quiet in terms of what's going on in the crazy world of Amazon. So I think what Karen and I are probably going to talk about a little bit tonight is some of the frustrating areas that you guys have been coming across in the Facebook group and some of the things. And, it's just really good to be able to talk through certain things and hopefully put your mind at rest. And it always seems like we're fanning fires a little bit at the moment and sort of saying, don't worry guys, Amazon's not shutting the doors, it's not the end of the Amazon sky is not falling in. But actually it's been okay this week. There's been some issues with shipments. So people have been experiencing some really long delays with sending their goods in. And I actually made a video about it for the YouTube channel today, just to kind of reassure people as to my thoughts, why it was happening. And obviously they're just my thoughts, not guaranteed to be right or wrong or whatever. And I think, we've still got to kind of remember with everything that's going on with Amazon at the moment, I still think they're doing a pretty phenomenal job, considering, the pressure that's on them, the sheer weight of people that are ordering on the website, the amount of goods that have been sent in. And at the end of the day, they're still social distancing. They're still trying to keep their staff safe. And I think what we've got to remember at the moment is that these aren't normal times. You can't, and I was speaking about this with Luke Duggan with regards to sales and Matt previously, you can't kind of compare anything that's gone on previously to now. Yes, I know the world's getting back to normal a little bit, but this is a new normal. It's not going to go back, in my opinion, too much to the old normal. It's not going to be far off, I don't think, but it's never going to be the new normal again, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. I think, Amazon have suddenly found themselves with their business probably, twice, 3 times, 10 times even maybe as many people ordering as had before. And they've got to keep up with all of that. And they're losing, at the same time, they're losing a proportion of their staff to social distancing and people not being able to be in work and all the rest of it. So they must be having a really hard time. And I think they're doing a good job, although everything is slow, which obviously is frustrating for sellers.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And I think it's something that everybody's going through the same thing. And the good thing, I always like to look at the positive. I always like to not dwell too much on the kind of negative stuff. I like to see the things that are happening at the moment. And it looks like, from what a few people have kind of said, that it's a period of thing that's been happening over the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've experienced that ourselves, but anything kind of moving on from now, they appear to be kind of catching up. But what they're kind of going through at this moment is this period of catch up. Essentially, that's what they're going through, and they're playing catch up. And I think it's probably because there's just a sheer weight of a combination of new sellers. I don't think the new sellers actually is the big issue. Even though I put that first, in no particular order, I might add. I think that you've got new sellers coming on. I think there's a combination of older sellers that may have not ordinarily sold at this time of year, that because it's such a good time of year to be able to sell, they've stayed engaged. People that may not have continued on with selling on Amazon have continue selling on with Amazon. And then people who were not doing FBA during the COVID-19 pandemic, when everything got shut down, you've got them as well. And then you've got all the Chinese sellers. Sorry, I was waving my arms everywhere, just knocked something off. And then you've got all the Chinese sellers as well that have not been able to send their goods in for a really long period of time, and that's playing catch up as well. So I think there's just this sheer weight of volume going into Amazon at the moment, and I just think Amazon are just a bit overwhelmed, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's just all a bit too much, but they'll catch up and things will slowly return to, as you say, the new normal, and stuff will get back to normal. But it's going to take a little bit of time. Definitely, they've got their hands full right now for sure.
Absolutely. So Emily says shipment created yesterday at 10 a.m. has just landed and is being received. So it's not all doom and gloom. There we go. So it is funny. It's like whenever we start talking about something, it's like Amazon have got their spies out and they start thinking, oh, Secret Wealth Project. They've started talking about it. We better pull our finger out. There we go. Emmanuel's joined us. Evening, Emmanuel. So Simon says, evening all. Just popping in briefly. We'll hang on as long as possible. We'll catch the rest of the replay tomorrow. Well, the replay, just to let everyone know, because every week, not not that I mind answering every week, obviously, but someone always says, where can I catch the replay? Because this automatically streams to Facebook. You don't have to wait for it to upload. So you just go to the video section on the Secret Wealth Project Facebook page and it should be there. But with this new software as well, we will be live streaming to YouTube at the same time, just not tonight because it hasn't synced in time because we only signed up for it late last night, and I think it needs 48 hours to do it. But as far as I'm aware, someone could, Matt Webley or Matt Cromie might have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're having a new YouTube channel.
Exciting.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just going to be a dedicated YouTube channel just for this, but I'm not 100% sure. So if we don't get 1,000 subscribers on it, like straight away, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Well, not sure it works quite like that.
I'm going to throw my toys out the pram and I'm not going to do it anymore. No, I'm only joking. So yeah, we'll let you know. I'll let you guys know in the Facebook group tomorrow, because some people, I don't know, because it comes up differently in a format, in a different format. Some people prefer the YouTube format, so you might be able to watch it on Facebook and you might be able to watch it on YouTube. I don't know. So someone says, yeah, Matt says, yep, new one just for these streams, or steam, he said at first.
Steams, yeah, he's in the bath.
Yeah, he's in the bath, steaming it out. So, yeah, Matt says that's the plan. Simon says, had one shipment that was picked up on a Tuesday, went live on Thursday, but another couple was still waiting for the Amazon's okay from June the 18th. Yeah, it just seems to be that period of time, the first 2 weeks of June, we had a big shipment that was sent in during that period of time, and Amazon lost about 2 of the boxes, which was frustrating and annoying. But and again, I know this is something that people are dealing with at the moment. You've just got to keep on keeping on at Amazon, because they will try and not pay you. They really will. They will try and not have to reimburse you for damaged goods, or they will try and not reimburse you for goods that they say are not in your box or something like that. I want to let everyone know that we've never not been reimbursed, because we've always kept up and we've always either escalated it to the management email, which is managingdirector@amazon.co.uk. So if you send an email to that email, if you get a negative kind of response to something, but it is an escalation email. So don't just send it to that first time wrap. You know, you have to try and resolve it through the normal channels first of all. And if you're not getting any joy, then you need to give as much information as possible to that escalation email. It will go to the management team, and I can't guarantee anything, obviously, but we've always had a really positive response from that email. It's always been sorted once we sent it through there. Yeah,
that's a good email. We use that sometimes with suspensions and stuff as well.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that used to be able to. I don't know if you can still use the jeff@amazon.com one.
Yeah, you can still use that one.
Yeah, you can still use
it. Last I tried, you could.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't used that one for a while. We use the managing director one, but I don't know if you agree, Karen. Don't use it willy-nilly, because I think if they see that you constantly just emailing that one, you know, it's like anything. If you abuse the system, it gets cut off, and that's quite a good kind of under the radar kind of approach at the moment. So don't use it too much, and only use it when you feel it's necessary, or when you feel you're getting a really raw deal. Because I think you deal with Seller Central way more than I do. I actually think Seller Central, they can be frustrating, but I actually think as long as you're kind of firm with them, as long as you're very clear in your approach to them, I don't think they're too bad to deal with personally.
They're all right for the first level, aren't they? So they'll fix a lot of things, and then you've got the option to, you know, take it up to the next level if you need to. But most of the time, I think they fix most stuff, don't they?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, yeah, it can be a little bit frustrating in some of the things that they say or do or act, or you might get a robotic kind of response to. But I genuinely think, you know, if you've got things like stranded inventory, if you've got listings that aren't showing, a lot of us spend hours trying to figure it out and, you know, what we're doing. And sometimes the best course of action is just to send Seller Central a message.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the first point of call. Definitely the place to go.
Yeah, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. We've got some questions here. I don't know if we've got any questions already. So Inga's joined us. Evening, Emma. Hi, Andy. Hi, Sean. So Sean says, Nat, can you keep us updated about Seller Fulfilled Prime and give us your opinion on it? Yes, this is something that we're going to do with one of our kind of private label products. Purely because shipments are taking so long at the moment. And in one of our private label products, there's like something that's quite vulnerable in it that really doesn't do well being held in kind of hot places and that for long periods of time. So I spoke to Matt about it, and we've never done Seller Fulfilled Prime before. So we're going to give that a go. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but because this particular product is over a kilo anyway, it's not like we can take advantage of really low kind of shipping prices through Merchant Fulfilled. Anyway, it's not actually going to cost us that much more. It's more I'm concerned about the shipping times. And I don't know if you've heard this actually, Karen. This is where I've been looking into it more. I've read a little bit about this. Is people who have used Seller Fulfilled Prime but haven't kind of taken it seriously have had their Seller Fulfilled Prime account suspended. Yeah. And I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before. Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't result in an account suspension. Is that right? Or...
Yeah, that's correct. They will often just, you know, suspend your Seller Fulfilled Prime privileges rather than suspend your whole account, and then you have to, you know, work with them in a similar way that you would a full suspension, and you have to work with the suspension team, but it's only your Seller Fulfilled Prime bit that is suspended. So yeah, I've seen that before. They're very, very strict on stuff with Seller Fulfilled Prime, like super strict. And you know, I remember there was someone I worked with. It was a while ago now. It was a good few months ago. But when the Royal Mail had picked up their bag of stuff, they hadn't scanned the bag. The day they picked it up, they scanned it the next morning, and that was enough for the seller to get his privileges removed.
Wow.
So it was like they're very, very strict. They can be super strict with it. So you do have to be really on it in terms of sending your stuff out when you say you're going to.
Wow. So that is a really hot tip there from Karen. So if you are going to go down the Seller Fulfilled Prime route, whenever they pick your stuff up, make them scan it.
Yeah, make sure it gets scanned and sent out that day. Just you know, just take the time to speak to the postman and make sure that happens.
And I think it's okay to do that now, because I think especially like more and more delivery services with everything that's going on with Corona, because they're not getting signatures and that, they're asking you to take pictures of you. I had one guy that come to the house the other day. It was actually some OA stuff that we were having delivered to the house. And I opened the door and he said, right, I'm just going to leave it here. He went, can I take a picture of you? And I went, sorry? And he was like, oh, no, I just need to take a picture that you've received it. And I was like, do you need to take a picture of me? And he went, yes. And I was like, I don't really want my picture being taken. I said, I don't mind you taking a picture of the stuff by the door. I said, and he said, and then he was like, can you open the door? And I'll just put it inside the door. I was thinking, oh, my God. You know, I know it's like getting a little bit kind of picky, but I suppose I don't know if you've had that.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing happen. He wanted to take a picture, but he didn't want to take a picture of me. So I think that guy just fancied you.
No, I really don't think it was that. I really don't think it was that. I think he
definitely was.
No, I think he was just saying that I want to take a picture of you holding the package. And I was a bit like, yeah, no, I don't let my family take pictures of me. There's no way I'm going to let some random like delivery guy take a picture and like post it all over Hermes.com or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so hot tip there. Make sure if you are going to sign up to Seller Fulfilled Prime, that's a really good tip. I wouldn't have thought of doing that actually, that you make sure, because it's such stringent time scales that you make sure they scan it. I've got a funny feeling actually, my Matt gets the UPS guys to make sure that they do it, you know, at the prep center and everything like that, to make sure that someone actually witnesses them doing it, because obviously if they don't end up scanned, they can get lost and, you know, that type of thing. So I suppose it's a similar type of thing anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. It just helps protect it, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. I don't know where my comments have gone. Have you seen any questions kind of pop up? So
no, I haven't. Hardly any questions at all. That was the only one that I'd seen as well. Everyone
that's fine.
About stuff rather than asking questions.
Yeah, well, let's say hello to everyone anyway. So David's joined us, Matt, Bud, Luke. Actually, Luke Pastor, spoiler alert, Luke is going to be on in a few weeks. Never mind the buy box. So he's going to be on. He's going to talk to us all, because it feels like forever. We haven't had Karen on forever. It feels like we haven't talked about books forever. So I've invited Luke to come on. Actually saying that, I think it's probably in about 3 or 4 weeks time, something like that. So Luke is going to be joining us to talk about books, because we're going to be coming into book season for Amazon. So September onwards is very much book season, and that's when, you know, people can do very well selling a lot of books over that period of time. Loads of people joining us again tonight. It's so popular that everyone's kind of coming and joining us, so thanks for that. So Callan says, where are we? 3 weeks now waiting on some boxes, sent 3 on Monday and they're live now. Do you know what? It almost feels like it's kind of over now. It's like they've had the period of shipping and now everyone's saying their boxes are live. So it just must be just a bit of a blip. And I think with Amazon, they've managed to catch themselves up and everything's going to be kind of returning to normal. So there we go. Make sure there's loads of deals on onlinearbitrage.com, which I know that there always are, because there's room now for them to be received in the fulfillment centers. So Simon says, my DPD guy takes a picture with our dog in it.
I guess it proves someone answered the door.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if a dog could be considered proof of purchase, but who knows? There we go. So Emily says, old books with a little face heart emoji. So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Vlad's joined us. Evening. Yeah, loads of people keep joining and going. Evening, everyone. So evening, everyone. If you've got any questions for Karen, she hasn't been on in ages. So please do give us some questions about any type of, well, anything that you know Karen is an expert in, but, you know, general Amazon expert, obviously. But while we're just kind of waiting for any questions to come in, let's talk a little bit about ungating and suspensions and what's been kind of going on in that world at the moment, because it's not just been Amazon shipments, it's not just been shipping times that have been experiencing a little bit delays. We've been seeing people in the group, and obviously yourself and the additional services that you deal with, you're seeing quite a few delays on Amazon's part for some of those services.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, Amazon's has been a little bit slow with everything. So ungating's taken a couple of weeks or 2 or 3 weeks to get a response. Suspensions are taking longer to get a response. Less so with suspensions. They tend to try and, you know, respond fairly quickly to suspensions. But equally, sometimes it can take many weeks to get a response on suspensions. But, you know, definitely ungating's a lot slower. Definitely a lot slower. You have to just, you know, bide your time and give it a while. But you'll get there in the end. They will answer you and they will, you know, respond to your request, and you'll get there in the end for sure. So it's worth just giving them a little bit of extra time before we give them any grief. I think just, you know, accept the situation as it is at the moment, and just, you know, it is what it is. They're doing their best to keep up with stuff, you know, and it's the same with the rest of the world, isn't it? Everything's a little bit different, and that includes ungating and having to wait a little bit longer to get your responses, because they used to be super quick. They used to respond sometimes like a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think back in the day, the only one that we ever ungated for, that we actually went through the ungating process, was for beauty. That was the only one that we ever did back, you know, when beauty was a gated category. Tell a lie, we might have done it on grocery actually as well. It might have been grocery and beauty that we did at a similar sort of time from good old Harrison's. And literally 6 hours, something like that, I think. You know, I remember sending it off and being like, you know, that was probably in a time when, you know, I've talked about this before, when you could just run a whole account on, you know, just running toys. And, you know, I did that for a really long period of time. Didn't even need to look at any other kind of categories for any kind of diversity. And so we went through it, and I was really nervous about submitting like this application for beauty and grocery in particular. And then they literally come through and they were like, yeah, you were ungated. I think if I remember rightly, I've got quite a good memory. If I remember rightly, we got straight through on grocery, but they actually declined us on beauty. Matt might have to correct me on this. But they actually declined us on beauty. But then I think Matt just sent through the stuff again, didn't change anything. And then they just ungated us second time round. So in your opinion, in your very professional opinion, Karen, would you say that that's worth doing now? I mean, I'm talking, this was years ago. So if they say no, and you're confident that you've got everything right, is it worth resubmitting?
100%. Absolutely. Yes, you should do that. 100%. If you get knocked back twice, then I think you then need to stop and think about there's obviously a problem with something that you've got. But, you know, it's just the same as everywhere. You know, you get your people that are good at what they do. You get your people that aren't so good at what they do, or don't pay as much attention, or are in a hurry to go home, or you're in the way because they want to go to lunch, or they need their quota for the day, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you know, it's always worth, you know, resubmitting it if you're sure that everything's right. Go through, you know, everything that you've done and make sure everything's right. But I think something else that with ungating, a lot of people don't always realise is they'll come back and tell you something's wrong with your application, and they might even come back and say the photos are wrong, or this is wrong, or that is wrong. But actually there's nothing wrong with your ungating application, and it could often be something in your account that's wrong. So if you're getting knocked back consistently and you think your documentation is good, if this is your first ungating, so this is the first category that you've tried to ungate manually, then I would suggest you go through your account, because you're very likely to find something is not quite right in your account, and your account has to be set up perfectly for Amazon to ungate you. So if you've got, I don't know, you've got an address in your account that is something road, and you've accidentally put something street somewhere else, that would be enough to, I don't mean on the application, I mean within your Amazon account. Do you know where you put in your different addresses? So you've got your residential address and your business address, all of that. You have to make sure that is all correct and everyone matches as it should, because there's often something in there that Amazon will knock back your ungating application, but they won't helpfully say, no, it's not that, it's your account. They'll just say, no, it's your images, or no, it's your documentation. When it's not, it's your account. And if you sort out your account, you'll get your ungating application through. So it's always worth going through your account if you keep getting knocked back.
Yeah, no, that is an amazing tip. And I think people sometimes don't realize, and you and I know this 100%, obviously you way more than me, is that Amazon are pretty hot on stuff like that. They don't make out like they are. They don't make out, and I mean, sometimes they do some odd stuff, Amazon, don't they? And they do some crazy stuff, and sometimes I think some sellers could mistake for thinking it almost looks a bit like incompetence on Amazon's part. But I tell you what, they are shit hot. Sorry for the swearing, but they are on certain things that we don't see outwardly, especially on suspensions and things like that. Anytime you may think as a seller, well, I can pull the wool over Amazon's eyes, no chance. They always find out.
They always find out. Always find out.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, sometimes you think, oh, you might be smarter than them or something. Well, they'll never notice. They'll never notice little old me doing that. They will. And you may get away with it for a really long period of time, but they will catch you in the end. Absolutely. So someone's just commented on my swearing. I'm not sure who that was, but I think we'd had a couple of questions on that. But yeah, that's a great tip from Karen. So if you are a new seller, if you are going through the ungating process, just make sure that everything is kind of matching correctly, everything is as it should be. And that will also help, especially if you're a new seller, when you hit that kind of 15,000 disbursement limit as well, when your account has to go through re-verification, because exactly for the same reason, when we're going to be seeing a lot of new sellers going through that. Now, a few years ago, the 15,000 disbursement limit, for anyone that doesn't know what it is, once you hit 15,000 pounds worth of sales on your Amazon account, Amazon just want to go through the process of re-verifying you, just checking you are who you say you are, you know, making sure that there's nothing dodgy going on. You're not trying to money launder or anything like that whatsoever, which I think is a really good thing because it helps protect sellers. It helps protect their account. And, you know, Amazon, we know when it comes to Amazon, customer is king. They're going to want to protect their customers at the end of the day. But once you hit that £15,000 disbursement limit, they will ask you to re-verify certain things on your account. It may be a bank account. It may be they want to see your UTR number. It may see they want to see your certificate of incorporation, depending on what type of company setup you are. But there will be something that they will want to see proof at. And the same with Ungating, the same with the suspensions. If something's not adding up, they're not going to sign you off. They're not going to give you that tick.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think something else is that really confuses people with suspensions and stuff is that when they come back with suspension information and when you're trying to get your account unsuspended, they'll just send you the same response over and over again, and that can be so frustrating. But the reason I do that is because every email that goes out from Amazon about a suspension has to be approved by their legal team. So they can't send out, they don't send personalised messages out because they'd have to go to the legal team and get it authorised that they were saying the right thing about the suspension before they sent it. So that's why you might ask certain questions, or you might, you know, you'll get the same thing over and over again. It just feels like they're not listening to you. It's not that they're not listening to you. It's just that you've not given them what they need, and you're going to get just a basic response because that's already been approved by their legal team. So it's just a template, and they'll pick the closest one, and that's the one you get. And that's why it feels sometimes that you're just talking to a brick wall when they're just not listening to you. And it's not that they're not listening. It's not that they're not doing what they should be doing. It's just because everything has to be approved by their legal team before they can email you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I'm going to press this new fancy smancy technology because Matt told me if I press one of the questions, it will come up. So let's try it.
Technology. Oh my God.
Yeah, hopefully it won't go wrong. Someone's put, I can't see the comments. So maybe if I read them out, you can say the name, Karen, because I still can't see the names, unfortunately. So somebody, apology, said maybe Amazon gave their guys a forced 2-week holiday. I'd love to think that's true, but I've seen the Amazon documentary where I think you get timed toilet breaks. So I don't know if they're, I don't know if that's genuine. So let's go with this question. Let's see if it pops up. So someone's, oh, does that come up? Looks like it.
Ooh.
There we go. There we go. So whoever said this,
that was Jackie.
Oh, it was Jackie. So Jackie, can you give us a few tips on what issues to avoid to ensure that we don't get our account suspended?
Yeah, don't miss me out.
Yeah, don't be naughty.
Yeah, that's the first one. I think the first thing is you have to be careful where you source from. So make sure you're sourcing from proper retail stores, or wholesalers, or wherever you're sourcing from. Especially if you're doing online sourcing, don't just go to some random shop that you don't know anything about, because you don't know where they're getting their stuff. And when the time comes, you won't be able to prove that, if the time comes, that your account is not, selling fake goods. So first thing is be really, really careful of where you are sourcing. Make sure you keep all your receipts. And if you're doing retail arbitrage, take them home and take a picture of them and put it somewhere in a file, or scan it on a printer, whatever you do, because retail receipts fade. But Amazon can often want something that goes back a year. So, you'll often get asked to provide invoices from the last year. So if you've got some faded receipt that they can't read, you're going to be basically without a receipt, and that's a death doornail to your account for sure, because then you can't prove that your goods are real. So take a picture or take a scan of your receipts so you can make sure that you can get to them when you need them, and keep them all somewhere safe. I would also say that the most important thing if you get suspended is don't panic. Don't panic. So if you've got a suspension safeguard with me, then please don't respond to Amazon. Just message me and we'll do it together. If you haven't got that, please, first of all, why not? But secondly, But secondly, don't panic. Don't respond to Amazon in a panic and say, oh, what's this? I don't mean to do anything wrong. I don't understand what you need from me or anything like that. because when I was first working on suspensions, and how I got into suspensions was because I saw people losing their accounts, not because of what they'd done was unforgivable, but because they went back and asked Amazon questions about the process. And Amazon was like, right, you've asked enough questions now. We don't want to talk to you anymore. That's it. Bang. So, and I just felt that was so grossly unfair. Get suspended because you've done something unforgivable. Fine. Yeah, you deserve it. But don't get suspended because you don't understand the process and you were asking questions. I was just really uncomfortable with that. I just thought that wasn't right. So if you don't panic, and make sure you research your issue thoroughly and properly before responding at all to Amazon, because you need to respond to them with everything they need. And you need to make sure every response that you send to Amazon gives really good points in your favor, because you're only going to get to talk to them so many times. You don't want to waste even one communication with Amazon that doesn't score a point in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're probably my biggest tips. But also, if you're doing a plan of action, make sure you're doing a proper plan of action. Make sure you're going into enough detail. Just a couple of lines about what's happened and what's wrong is not gonna cut the mustard. You've got to go into a lot of detail. They're looking to you to really understand that you've understood what the issue was and that you've corrected it in your business. So there's another tip, but it's something you need to do in your plan of action, is make sure you find something that you can correct in your business, because Amazon are looking for you to do something to change your business and how it operates, to make sure the same problem can't happen again. So if you don't take responsibility for everything and you just try and blame Amazon for everything, or blame the customer or whatever, it's really not going to do you any favors at all. You need to take responsibility for your business, and you need to find something small that you can, say, this is my fault and this is what I've done to correct that in my business. But make sure it's a small thing. We don't want to be admitting to all sorts of random stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a small
nothing
thing.
like I've been evading this, or I've been buying fraudulent goods, and I'm never going to do that again. Just something very small, very simple. Because again, I think that's a really important point, because, and going back to what we were saying about Amazon kind of catching you out, and Amazon, it's their playground at the end of the day. And we do deal with a lot of sellers. You see it in the Facebook groups, and I'm sure you deal with it every day, Karen, where some people are like, it's not my fault, this is not fair. And 9 times out of 10, they're right. It's probably not their fault, and they're probably not fair, but it is Amazon's playground. And I'm not advocating the way that Amazon deal with things at certain times, but do you know what? You are a drop in the kind of Amazon ocean, and they don't care. They're just going to move on to the next one, and there's no getting around it. There's certain things I think you can call Amazon out on. Shipping policy violations, call them out on that, because 9 times out of 10 they're wrong. We see it all the time, where you haven't polybagged this, or you haven't bundled that, or you haven't stickered this, or you haven't done that. That is predominantly Amazon. New technology. They use these scanners to check things, and it doesn't pick it up. And the funniest ones is when you ask them to provide a picture of it, and they provide a picture of it polybagged, and it says, this item has not been polybagged. You're like, really? It has. And and those are definitely the funniest ones. But that sort of thing you can challenge, and you can win at this stage. Now, in the future, Amazon might just turn around and say, do you know what? We're not going to allow challenges to that anymore. So all policy shipment violations, anything like that Amazon have said that you've done wrong, that you have, make sure you've got evidence, take your pictures, and document it all. Cover your backside, a bit like Karen said about the taking a picture of a store receipt. Just make sure that you document everything, and that you can always go back to them. Cover your backside, and you should be okay. But there are certain things like suspensions that you can't really kind of fight your corner on that too much, can you? You've got to admit it.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, just a quick one, going back to receipts, because I wrote this down, and it's something. Let's do a bit of myth busting tonight, as we've got you on here, Karen. Is that certainly in the UK, when it comes to proving authenticity of goods, retail receipts are acceptable. That's correct, yeah?
They are, as long as they're from a decent retailer, and as long as your retail receipt doesn't say product XYZ628, because that doesn't tell Amazon what your product is.
Oh, right. It has to be specific to what that product is.
Yeah, you need to make sure that product, that Amazon, if you need to submit that receipt, it tells Amazon what that product is. Okay. Now, if it's a shop you like to source from and you know their receipts aren't great and they don't put a proper description of the product on there for you, what you can do is when you buy the product, if there's a barcode, if there's a code or something they use like a product code, and that product is also, or that code is also on the product, you can take a picture of the receipt and the product together so that you can see the code on the receipt and the code on the product. So that's something that you can do if that's the problem with the receipt of where you are. But you definitely need to make sure that, you know, retail receipts are fine as long as it's a good retail receipt and it shows exactly what the product is.
Cool. Thanks for that, Karen. Much appreciated. Right, let's. All of a sudden now, everyone seems to ask loads of questions, so we better go through them. You know, we can chat. We do like to go into detail. We do like to clarify our answers, definitely. So this one here again, you're going to have to tell me who it is. Hello, ladies. How should I deal with lower order quantities if I order 5 to 10 units from a retailer? It takes years to reach high volume. Well, not necessarily, whoever's asked the question, apology, because what you can do is you can go shallow and wide. So you can order 5 to 10 units of one product from one store, and then you can order 5 to 10 products from another store, and you can build up and compound your inventory from that point of view. And the good thing about doing that is you're not kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. You know, if you want a volume business, in retail arbitrage, it is something that you have to compound, you have to build up to. There's no doubt about that. The higher volume sort of areas of selling on Amazon are private label and wholesale. But I personally think going down the online arbitrage route is the better way to start selling on Amazon. It exposes you to the most areas on Amazon and it helps you kind of build up to things. And you might lead going into some higher single unit volumes in different selling areas at some point. But absolutely, there are lots and lots of sellers who start out by ordering single units up to 5-6 units, something like that, and it's just about consistently kind of rinse and repeat in the process. So you can have an arbitrage account and you can do high volume, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So hopefully that has answered that question. So let's put
Sean
this one up.
just asked one. Let me just answer this. Sean just asked one, and he said, how long is the longest that I've known someone wait to get their account back?
Oh, good question.
Is that 3 months? No, it's 14 months. I've known someone wait 14 months to get their account back. They got it back in the end, but yeah, it took a very long time.
Wow. And what was the reason for suspension?
Verification.
Just verification.
Yes, 14
so
months.
They hadn't even done anything wrong in Amazon's eyes.
Well, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. So actually, that's a good question then, leading on for that. Obviously, if you can give me a pre-COVID and a post-COVID answer, that would be great. How long would you normally expect pre-COVID for a suspension and ungating to take, and how long now post-COVID are you seeing them taking on average?
I think for ungating, you used to get an answer within a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it would be 4 or 5 days, but most of the time it was within a couple of days. Sometimes it would be within an hour or so. Sometimes it was super quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're waiting 2 weeks-ish, something like that. So it's quite a lot longer for ungating. Suspensions, less so. Suspensions, that's a bit of a how long a piece of string question for suspensions, really, because it all depends what people have done. You know, we've got suspended counts back within, I don't know, a week or so. And one of them, as I say, it took 14 months, but it just depends what it is. So I haven't noticed that suspensions is hugely affected by like COVID stuff. I'm sure it is, but I think that's where they're probably trying not to have such an impact, because obviously it's it's detrimental for the seller, and it's affecting Amazon's profits is what Amazon will care about. So, but definitely I've not noticed it as much with suspensions as I've noticed it with ungatings.
Okay, yeah, no, that's interesting, because I thought suspension, not that I deal with suspensions or anything like that whatsoever, but I would assume actually, because that's the more complex things to be able to deal with, I would assume that would have been taking longer. So it's kind of good to know, I suppose, a little bit that it is being hopefully not had too much of an effect or impact on it. So again, sorry, I keep saying someone, apologies. I'm trying to learn this new software, so I'm not trying to do too many things at the same time. So a Facebook user has said that with Karen's course, I managed to get ungated in grocery without a single sale on the account, plus in many more without a single rejection. Great. So yeah, brilliant, because yeah, everyone raves about that, about your course, Karen, and I don't know if it's really talked about a lot. Is it Secret Wealth Project's kind of best kept secret, really?
Yeah, we don't talk about it a huge amount. No, I get a lot of comments about it, and and people are grateful because it gets them ungated quite easily. So yeah, it's not something we talk about very much, actually. It's not. It is a secret. It's hidden.
Yeah, it is. Not intentionally so, but it's like Secret Wealth Project's best kept secret. So if anybody does want to get ungated, and I'm not going to use the G word or anything like that, but if somebody wants to get ungated and you want to have the kind of best shot you can, and you don't want to kind of stress yourself out too much about doing it, Karen does actually have a course. And guys, we're not here to sell you anything, obviously, but there are certain things with Amazon that you can get in order to make life easier for you. So anyone drop Karen a message if you're interested in that. But I think there is an option you can get it with OAD. Is that right?
Yeah, you can get it with OAD, the big discount with OAD. The beginners package comes with a big discount on the course. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good way of getting it, definitely.
Yeah. Well, drop Karen a message.
Deals and ungated.
Yeah, deals and ungated. And you're going to need the deals if you get ungated as well. So there we go.
Yeah,
we're here to solve all your problems. Okay, so let's go back. So someone says, late to the party, looking fabulous, ladies. Great discussion too. So here we go. It's another question. With ungating, give them as much information as possible. Explain the ASIN used. Tell them if you have bought X amount of cases and Y amount of units in case they come back with an arbitrary response that could set you back a few weeks. So yes, thank you for adding that. Again, I don't know who it was. Oh, I think it was David. So David, thanks for that. I was actually on the right point of the comment. So Sean says, I'm waiting for Amazon to upgrade me to a limited company. So again, that's a different type of verification as well. So that's probably the one that's going to have the least amount of impact. It used to have a big impact. People used to wait weeks in order to go through that kind of verification of going from sole trader to limited company. But certainly I've not heard of that going back to the Stone Age. That's something that they managed to sort out really quickly.
I think so. As long as you've got all your ducks in order, as they say, as long as you make sure that you have opened your company and you have all your articles of association and you've got your certificate of incorporation and you've got all that stuff, and that you've opened your limited company bank account and you have the letter from the bank that gives all the account details, then you're good to go. Just don't ever try it before you've got that stuff, because then Amazon will suspend you for not having supplied it quick enough, because they only give you about 3 or 4 days once you've told them you want to start the process to actually providing all the documentation. And it takes sometimes weeks to get the documentation from the bank, especially opening the bank account and stuff. So you don't want to tell Amazon you're doing it until you've got all your paperwork in order. And then it should be fairly straightforward.
Cool. Thanks for that. Should be. Absolutely. So who says this one? So this is Corin. So this is storage fees. I'm trying to understand how do I can't read tonight. I'm trying to understand, how do I know how long to say we need storage for? I'm assuming Corin's talking about the storage fees that are maybe accounted in BuyBot Pro. What do you say for 1 month if then it is still there 2 months later? Do they bill you for it later? Hope that's clear.
Yeah, it's not expensive, is it? It's not, I wouldn't say pennies, but it's not expensive. If as long as your shipment, your products aren't there for too long. If they're there too long, then it gets expensive. But as long as they're not there for too long, I don't think, if it's there for 1 month or 3 months, it's probably, fairly limited in its, impact on your profit, I would say. If it's there for a year and 18 months, then you need to worry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if it's there for 18 months, you will know about it if it's there for 18 months, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because BuyBot Pro accounts for 1 month storage fees, is that correct?
That's correct. But if you switch the island, if you've got the island switched on, you can change it and it will change up depending on how long you think it will be there for. So if you know that you're going to not, you're not going to not want to sell that for, it's going to sit there for a while because you're going to hold it out for your price, then you can change it to 3 months.
Oh, brilliant.
Whatever it is. So,
I didn't actually know that. I didn't actually know that. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you've probably really got to allow realistically that apostle. I mean, let's face it. Let's hope it sells within a month. Of course, that's the goal. Nobody buys stuff to be able to hold on to it. Nobody buys stuff to say, do you know what? I'm not going to sell that unless you're buying advent calendars in June, obviously. But no one buys stuff. The intention is to always sell it. And I wanted to clarify this a little bit tonight, actually, because there's loads of kind of conversations going on between groups about, oh, it's bad advice if you tell people to hold stuff and this and that. And we don't tell people to hold stuff because I think people know that when it comes to, I've talked a lot in the group about, I'm not one of these people that I believe in the data. I believe in looking at the historical data at what I think that product's going to do, what I think sellers are going to do on that particular product. You can, when you've been around the block a few times in this business, you can start to get a feeling for things based on the data and also based on seasonality, the time of the year, and all these different factors. And all I ever advocate is that people don't make the decisions based on panic or emotion, that they look at the figures, they take the time to say, okay, do you know what, there are a lot of sellers have jumped on this, the price is going down. Yes, if I don't think that price is going to recover in a certain period of time, I might as well get out now, and I might as well put my money into something else, buying a different product where the price might not tank or whatever. So it's not that I'm selling people to sit and hold their products for months and months and months. Of course not. I'm trying to tell people, make a decision. Don't be pushed into it. Don't see the price going down and panic and make that decision from that point of view. That's what I just don't see how anyone can, I'm not one of these people that can't accept other people's opinion, but I don't see how anyone couldn't see that, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. You've got to make it on the business information that you've got rather than emotion and panic, haven't you? You definitely 100% agree with that. 100%.
Absolutely. So yes, Corinne, so if you've got BuyBot Pro Ireland, then you can change that. But as Karen quite rightly says, and I don't ever want to encourage people not to take fees into account on things like that, but if we're talking maybe from 1 month to 2 month storage fees, it's very, very minimal. And yes, I suppose if you did that on hundreds of products, it would all add up. But it's really, I would say, once you've held on to something for maybe upwards of kind of 6 months, that's when you really need to start thinking about, what you want to do with that product and hopefully, and I don't think many people keep hold of, products longer than that anyway. You'll always make a decision within that time, fingers crossed, but we'll always have a look at it for you anyway, if you need any advice on that. So let's have a quick look. Any other questions? So hi there, sorry I'm late. Question. Right, I've lost my, I'm gonna have to go back here and stop fiddling with the software. Oh, it was Callan that said about the course. Thanks for that, Callan. Josh says, on the topic of ungating, I'm a new seller and gated in toys and games. Is it worth me spending the time in trying to get ungated, or focus on selling home and kitchen news books, etc., until I start getting auto ungated?
I think there's so many good deals in toys, and there's so much money to be made in selling toys. Personally, I would just get ungated and get on with it. I wouldn't wait. Okay. I just get on with it. Just get it done.
I agree. I would say that if it was January, then it's not going to be urgent. It's not going to be urgent to get ungated in toys. But as we are, as of tomorrow, the 1st of July, and guys, we are going to seriously start talking about Q4, in reality, it's coming. And, it's the way that this year's gone so far, how quickly it's gone, it's going to be coming pretty soon. So this side of 2020 and knowing what an impact toys and games have in Q4, and knowing regardless of what's going on with the economy, with everything that's going on with COVID-19, I think toys and games will be as mad as ever, if not madder this year for Q4. So I think you would kind of be a little bit mad to miss out on that. So I think it's definitely worth doing 100%.
Yeah.
So Chippo says, am I buying items if I'm buying items in casing for ungating, do I have to buy 10 cases?
No, you need to, well, it depends where you're buying them from to start with. You need to make sure the wholesaler that you're using distinguishes between cases and items in cases on their invoices. Because if they don't, then yes, you'd need to buy 10 cases because it'll only say 10 on the invoice. But if you're working with a wholesaler that says 10 cases of 8 or whatever it says on their invoice, then you need to buy however many so you've got enough products. So if there's 6 in a case, as long as the invoice will be right, and you need to check that with the wholesaler, then you only need to buy 2 cases. But if they don't distinguish between numbers of products in the case and number of case numbers on the invoice, then yes, you'd need to buy 10.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for answering.
Otherwise, no, only just buy however many you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's worth it in the long run. Oh, and just to clarify, and hopefully you'll agree with this, Karen, is that you shouldn't be looking for the purposes ungating. You shouldn't really be looking to make a profit on the items that you're buying. Just buy it, suck them up. I'm a personal believer in if you can get your money back for the items that you're going to select for gating, I think that's a win, essentially. Buy the sweets and eat them all yourself. That's what I think.
It's funny because I got ungated on my Amazon account. I don't even sell on Amazon anymore, but I got ungated on my Amazon account 3.5 years ago, whatever it was now.
Yeah.
And I'm still using up the shampoo I bought to get ungated. I've not bought shampoo since. I'm still using it up.
You're still using that Amazon shampoo. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think nowadays, it's more known. It wasn't so much known back 3, 4, 5 years ago. People did used to look for products. They wouldn't buy products for the purposes of ungating unless they could make profit on them now. And that's really hard now from buying from wholesalers like Harrison's, who can buy in smaller amounts for, because don't forget, you're probably going to be able to make profit on something that you would buy from a wholesaler for the purposes of ungating if you buy in massive volume, but we're not looking to do that for this purpose. So there's no point. Just kind of suck it up, send it in if you can get it back. If not, realistically, what can you get ungate? 60, 70 pounds, sometimes even less than that, something like that. In reality, for what the products are going to cost you. And you know what? Buy a load of sweets, buy a load of toothpaste, buy a load of shampoo. As Karen says, you'll have a lifetime supply.
Exactly. You can be using it up 3 years later, like me.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, the sweets wouldn't last 3 years in my house. No way. They would be gone, 100%. So Sean says, you mentioned about Amazon verification on your account when you hit 15,000. They didn't contact me until I went over 200,000 on my Amazon account. Now, I don't actually know this. I wonder is the verification limit just for limited companies? I know Sean was obviously previously a sole trader. Not 100% sure, but obviously, if you didn't get it, most people do. So it's all good.
Exactly. Yeah, be happy.
Yeah, be happy. Absolutely. That's good. So it's nice to hear that, Karen, as we felt like we are not being listened to. I think that was probably when we were talking about when Amazon. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So Emmanuel says, question regarding the difference between hazmat and dangerous goods. How can a particular product be dangerous goods but not hazmat and vice versa? So do you want me to
go for it?
Yeah, handle this one, and then maybe we can explain the difference between BuyBot Pro, which I know that Tareem asked earlier in the group as well, to clarify the difference between that. So this is really odd, and I know it's a question that people do tend to ask a few times, actually, the difference between Amazon's hazmat and dangerous goods and things like that. So you've got Amazon who clarify certain things as hazmat, certain products as hazmat. Now, generally, they are not hazmat products. They are not products that are considered to be toxic or combustible, or something that in the real world, hazmat, you would consider yourself suiting up in a toxic waste suit, or something like that. We consider paint stripper or something like that to be hazmat dangerous goods. It's essentially something that Amazon has identified within the listing or identified within that product that they just want a little bit more clarification on. Now, it always tends to be products that are mainly within the beauty field, but you get a lot of it in the arts and craft field. You might get it in the home and kitchen field as well. Generally, a good example that I always use for this is what Amazon might consider to be hazmat, which absolutely is not dangerous or not hazmat whatsoever, are marker pens. So we would consider that there's nothing dangerous about marker pens in reality, and if you're being sensible with them. But because there's probably something in there, there's something that's triggered Amazon's kind of bot that has identified in there that there's something they just want to clarify, that it's a safe product. And in that case, they put it in hazmat review. And that's when you have to fill out the safety data sheet and you have to give further information. As soon as Amazon's got that information, they'll take it out. Now, that's hazmat. Now, the difference is with dangerous goods. Dangerous goods is nothing to do really with the clarification of the product. It's the difference on your account as to whether you are part of the dangerous goods program. Now, I know why this is coming up at the moment, because they accept people into waves. And just this past week or two, there's been a new opening for people to come into the dangerous goods program. They seem to do it probably about every 3 to 6 months, something like that, where they accept a new level of sellers into that. Now, what that actually means is, when you are accepted into the dangerous goods program, that you can send hazmat products into Amazon for FBA. Anybody can sell hazmat products. You just can't send them FBA if you are not part of the dangerous goods program. Now, if you do become part of the dangerous goods program, if you get accepted on that, generally you have to be selling for more than 3 months and have a little bit of a sales history on your account. If you do get accepted into the dangerous goods program, then that means that you can send those hazmat goods into Amazon, as well as potentially some dangerous goods as well. So possibly aerosols, combustible, cans, flammable potential products, but nothing like dangerous. You can potentially send that in, providing you followed the guidelines. You have to understand that it's a split shipment. You can't put a couple of hairsprays in with your Fisher-Price toys. It will be split to a completely different distribution center, and it has to be sent through an external carrier and not through Amazon's partnered carrier program with UPS as standard. You can have UPS take it, but you can't have UPS pick it up through your account as you would normally do it. You would book it through DPD or something like that. And if Matt Cromie is watching, I know I do it every time. I will say to him, you need to put it in the comments. Which one do you select when you book it through Parcel to Go or whoever you do? I know some people use DPD. I know some people use UPS. Now, you can also sign up to a separate account using someone like TNT, which was someone that Susan Hogan came on and talked about and recommended an account manager very kindly, because Susan sells a lot of hazmat products, so she's been through the process. And it will be cheaper because, by the way, if you go through the Parcel to Go option, it's going to cost you more. It's probably about double the cost it will cost to send a box in through Amazon Standard Partner program. So it's probably going to cost you about double. So bear that in mind within your margins as well. But you can set up a separate account, which can bring that cost down, and volume's not an issue whatsoever. And you can send more kind of considered to be dangerous goods. And how you can really tell the difference is, say, for instance, you've got something like, I don't know, I've got a bottle of perfume here, right? So this is a bottle of perfume, but Amazon would probably consider it to be a hazmat product because, you know, it's a bottle of perfume. It's probably got some flammable kind of element to it, but it's not a dangerous good. Whereas if you've got some lighter fuel or something like that, if you look on the back of the bottle, there will be symbols on the back of the bottle that will specify it's a certain type of product. Now, those are the type of products that you'd have to set up an external like TNT account for, and they have to be sent in a certain way with certain labels. They have to be packaged in a certain way. Those goods can also go into Amazon, but as OA sellers, RA sellers, we don't tend to come across those that much, to be perfectly honest. So if you're just talking about your hairsprays and your beauty creams and your marker pens and that type of thing, then you're all right to send them in, but just go down the kind of parcel to go route. Sorry.
I've got nothing to add what Natalie said.
Sorry. I just realized that I was like just talking and talking and talking. No, it's just one of those things, and I get why people get confused over it, because it doesn't make any sense as to why. I mean, we've all come across those products that, I've seen chocolate bars be designated under Hazmat review before, and you think, well, why is that under there? And most people will go through the normal Hazmat kind of review, but at the end of the day, I think it's one of those things that we thought that it was going to be this great big thing, and we'd all be able to make loads of extra money selling these Hazmat products through the Dangerous Goods program. But actually, it turns out it's just a big load of faff, and it costs you more money anyway. So, it's something that I think most people do it, but you just got to make sure, because you've got the margin. You just got to make sure you got the margin. You just got to make sure that you've got enough to fill a box as well, because anything that's designated as dangerous goods, Hazmat, is going to get split as well. So it's not like you can chuck a couple of extra hairsprays in with a standard package. But Ari Tareem's question, she asked about on BuyBot Pro the difference between Hazmat and dangerous goods. So I don't know if you just want to clarify the difference on that.
Okay, so if you're not registered for the dangerous goods program, ignore the dangerous goods line because it's not relevant to you.
Yeah.
If you're not registered, just look at whether it's Hazmat or not, and that's all you need to worry about. Obviously, if you're registered, then it will tell you whether it's part of that program and therefore that it's allowed. But if you're not part of the dangerous goods program, which most people aren't, just ignore that part of BuyBot Pro and just focus on the Hazmat.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Cool. I think what we do is that eventually I will do some sort of maybe I'll do like a never mind the buy box Hazmat special or something like that. We did have it with Susan, but obviously I think every time this kind of process comes up where they relet a new amount of sellers in, it kind of comes up. So maybe I'll but actually guys, search in the Facebook group, the Secret Wealth Project. Susan did a really insightful, amazing post some time ago. If you put Susan Hogan and Hazmat, like dangerous goods, something like that, you'll be able to find the post. And she gave so much value. She gave so much information in that post. So that's worth having a read as well. Let's have a quick look. So
Corinne just mentioned about an issue signing up for PPP. Corinne, if you email the team, they'll help you out. info@profitprotectorpro.com, and the team will help get you sorted out.
Cool. So Luke says, Pastor says, multiple accounts, recent rule changes on multiple accounts. Is it worth looking into setting up a second account limited that is not linked as a backup?
Okay, well, you still have to have permission from Amazon to have a second account.
This is what they've sort of changed, because now they've come out and said that you don't have to have permission. But I think this is kind of a little bit of dangerous advice to say that you don't have to have permission. If it was me, I would still cover my bum and ask for permission.
I would still cover it, especially if it's just come out newly, because I've known them suspend people fairly recently for having two accounts. So I would absolutely say just email them and get it in writing that you can have your second account, because then you've got it just for you. If they're giving you the option to do that, then by all means. If you get suspended in one, depending on what the suspension is for, potentially you could lose both. So don't assume that you can. It's just a great backup that it means you won't get suspended in both. But what they tend to do is, if you've been suspended in one, they won't suspend the second until they refuse to give you back the first. But if they refuse to give you back the first account because you've been suspended and they're never going to have you back, they don't want you selling, then they will suspend the second account as well.
Yeah.
But often if they suspend one, they'll give you a chance to appeal that before they would suspend a second account. So it's not an automatic thing that they do both, but definitely I would say don't rely on that. Fairly recently I've known them. That's why I didn't even know they'd changed it. Very recently I've known them suspend people for 2 accounts.
It kind of came out, and it did come out through Amazon themselves. It did come out, but again, it came out very much under the radar, and I still don't trust it anyway. And it was so ambiguous as to why you could have a second account that I don't think that anyone can rely on that, even coming from Amazon themselves, because in my opinion, when it comes to a second account on Amazon, I could be wrong. I think there's probably only one other thing that you would get in more trouble for, and I think that's probably like counterfeit goods or you know, fake goods, that type of thing. But actually, it's pretty serious from this with Amazon. There's not much forgiving with trying to pull the wool over Amazon's eyes and thinking that you're trying to set up a second account. That's it. And I only know like one person ever that's lost their account permanently. One was due to counterfeit goods, and the other one was due to trying to pull the wool over Amazon's eyes with second accounts. It's it's very rare. Obviously, let's point that out as well. It's very, very rare that this happens. But the sort of thing that they said, it wasn't even like a terms of service thing. It was just like released where they said, you don't have to ask permission for a second account anymore, but you got to have a good reason for a second account. But then didn't clarify what that reason was.
Well, that reason used to be, whether they're going to leave the reason the same, it used to be so that you could never sell the same sort of products in both accounts. So you could have one account that was a private label account called X Beauty or whatever that just sold your private label beauty product. And then you were allowed to have a second account that had like OA goods in it. So a range of products. So that used to be the reason that they would allow it. But you had to be very careful not to have any overlap in the product or the type of products that you sell.
Yeah, that's exactly how I understood it to be. And also don't think, and by the way, guys, this is one account per household, not per person, not per limited company, per household that Amazon verify. So if you like, I can't have one account in my name and Matt have another account in his name, and we both do OA, even if we sell different products. It has to be for a valid reason. I always understood a different tax entity, not from, but actually, no, I'm not going to say that because obviously I don't want to give any like accounting advice or anything like that. But it still has to be a different type of business. So if you were to set up I would say wholesale is a blurred line between the two, because I do actually still consider wholesale to be part of the arbitrage family. So for me personally, it has to be black and white. Might be interested in Luke Pastor, obviously asked a question himself actually, if books would be considered, because that's the second-hand market. I don't know if that would be considered enough different from traditional arbitrage. In my mind, maybe yes, but again, it could be one of those blurred lines.
Definitely a blurred line, I think.
Yeah. So how I understood it, you do an arbitrage, you want to set up a private label brand, and the idea is because you might sell that private label brand at some point, you can't separate it out. But guys, if you're going to set up a second account and you're going to follow those rules, just make sure you go ahead and ask permission anyway. Kathleen says, when taking pictures of your shipments, you take photos of all goods before boxed up or as you pack. I do it as I pack, essentially layer after layer after layer. And just anything that requires Amazon prep, I just make sure I take a picture of now, which is a pain, but is what it is, unfortunately. So Sean says, if you have two accounts and both confirmed and official by Amazon, but one account gets suspended at a later date, does the second account? Oh, is that that's what we asked?
We kind of answered that. I think it really depends on what you got suspended for. If you get suspended for, selling counterfeit goods and fake goods or whatever, then yes, probably, because they're not going to want you as a seller on their platform. But not automatically, and not while you appeal a suspension, or very rarely while you appeal a suspension.
And actually, I think you're also pretty safe. The only other reason you're safe is if you have an Amazon.com, so a US account. If you get suspended in the US, it doesn't mean that you'll automatically get suspended in the UK.
No, that's correct.
Yeah, cool. So also, Emmanuel always answers questions so quickly. Estimate, excellent customer service. Paul says hi. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Question, is it safe to turn FBA on in Europe now? I'm worried about price gouging. And actually, you've read my mind, Sean, because I did want to ask Karen about this. Is price gouging still a thing?
I've not seen any suspensions on that for 2 or 3 weeks, I would say, something like that. But that's not to say that it's not, but I've seen it less. Let's phrase it that way. I think I would still be careful. For sure. I think I would still be careful, but I've seen it a lot less. I was literally seeing it like boom, 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 boom all the time.
Yeah.
And then it's gone quieter. So I would say still be careful, definitely. But they seem to be off the boil a little bit with it.
And I think it's something also to get into the habit about as well, just creating good habits, because not being funny, if there's a second wave, they're going to get hot on it again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's going to happen again. And do you know what? I think the world's for like the last 2-3 weeks seem to have kind of forgotten about coronavirus with everything else that was going on in the world. Now it's sort of creeping back. Amazon might start getting touchy about it again. So it's just good to be in kind of good habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amanda says, hi, sorry I'm late. That's all right, Amanda, we forgive you. So David says, everyone's really taking advantage of you being on here, Karen. We are not going to leave it so long next time. Otherwise, we're going to be on here till like 10 o'clock tonight. David says, Karen, do you help with sole to limited changeover process? I'm 2 months in and just waiting for verification, not suspended, and hardly given or been asked for the new company information.
David, there's nothing anyone can do about that apart from Amazon. It's just you need to go through that process with Amazon, and it's just a case of waiting and being patient, especially at the moment. It's going to take longer. You don't need me or to pay anybody else to do anything, because nobody can hurry it through for you. You just got to wait for Amazon to go through that process. You know, you're sitting in someone's inbox somewhere, and you know they'll get to you, but it just takes time. But there's nothing anyone can do to hurry that up for you, unfortunately.
No, absolutely.
Have patience. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just reading Emmanuel's reply to Ray. He said, thanks, Ray. I try my best. LOL. So Paulina asked, actually, and I'm not sure if it was Paulina or someone else asked this in Secret World. So apologies, Paulina, or whoever else it was, if you didn't ask this. And I actually wanted to know the answer on this, because I don't know the answer to this. Is hi, Karen. How can we get ungated in beauty or grocery in the EU markets if they ask for safety info in the local language?
Then you'll need to Google it and make Google Translate your friend and find out what they need. If that's what they need, that's what you need to find. So it's just a case of getting on and finding that information. It should be out there. You should be able to find it. It's obviously going to take you longer because you're going to have to keep messing about with translating stuff, which is going to be an absolute pain. But if that's what they need, that's what you need to go with. If they won't accept the English one, what you could do, I suppose, is you could attach the English one and send a translation of it and see if that solves the problem. I don't think it will, but might be worth a go.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. It's worth a try. Yeah, absolutely. I also think it's probably worth a shot. Obviously, if you bought it from a retail, well, no, because this is ungating, isn't it? So it will come from a wholesaler. It's also worth going back and asking the original wholesaler, because they might get it in a different language. They might get it in, you know, like when you order something, it's got an instruction, but it's got like German, French, Spanish, Chinese, you know, it might automatically, they might have like a pack that they get with it that might have it in there. So it's definitely worth going. But if not, go to google.de or google.fr and Google it and see if it comes up in a different language. I don't really see what to do.
Yeah, contact the manufacturer in English and ask for it in French. So you could do that, or whatever you need. You can contact the English manufacturer and ask if they've got a French version of their safety sheet. You know, all of those things you can try.
Well, yeah, so that's a good point. So the details of the manufacturer will be on the safety data sheet, won't they?
Yeah. So you can then contact the manufacturer and ask them for it. So potentially they can forward it on.
There we go. Hot tip there, definitely. So Corin says, okay, thank you, ladies. Just answering that. Just signed up for BuyBot Pro. Whoop, whoop. Absolutely. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the Karen Express to BuyBot Pro. You won't regret it. Absolutely. So Sean says Q4 is going to be amazing this year. I completely agree. 100%.
I think to coin one of Matt's phrases, it's going to be the best Q4 ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know we will start breaking out that hashtag soon. I've got no doubts. Let's get it trending.
Let's get it going. Let's do it today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forever.
Yeah, if he's still watching, which he probably isn't, but if he is, get that hashtag going. We'll start using it. So Callan says we did talk about this briefly at the start. No timeline as yet, but you guys will be the first to know when the new RA app is ready. So it's not BuyBot Pro, is it?
Well, it is BuyBot Pro,
but it's not.
It is.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're bringing out 2 apps. So we are bringing out a BuyBot Pro mobile app for anyone that is a BuyBot Pro client, and that will come free with your BuyBot Pro subscription. So that's coming out. But we're also bringing out a standalone RA app called Skewify, and that is, just if you just want to do RA and you don't want to do RA, so you don't need the whole BuyBot Pro desktop and everything else. You just want to do RA, just want to look up your stuff in the shop, then Skewify will do that for you. But Skewify and BuyBot Pro will basically be the same app. So we're going to just, so if you've got BuyBot Pro Chrome extension, then you will get Skewify, but done as BuyBot Pro free with your account. So, and if you just want Skewify, then you'll be able to buy that through the App Store. And yeah, it's in the final stages of development. So it's very, very exciting. I'm hoping to see a working copy at the end of this week. But then it's got to go into some testing and some other stuff to do before we actually get there. But yeah, really in the final stages of development for sure.
July-ish?
I'm not going to make any promises because I don't want to make promises that I can't keep.
I have to ask because they'll all be saying you didn't ask and it didn't.
I'd like to think so, yes. I'd like to think so, yes. If it's anything, if I've got enough control over it to make it happen, I will. But it's development teams and things take longer than sometimes I'd like them to, and I have no patience. So, I'll be pushing. You can be sure for that.
Yeah, and you guys, we know how much effort that you put into it to making sure it's right, making sure that it's a good bit of kit for everyone. I think as long as we're there for kind of the end of August, it'll all be good because that's when the stores really start kind of discounting stuff, anything as well. So we'll hold you to August, definitely, 100%. So Corinne says, hope we can help. We're trying to sign up. Oh, we've already answered that one.
We've done that one, yes.
We've done that. So Slava's joined us. Evening, Slava. Hope you are well. So Mark says, anything with a battery is considered dangerous goods. Yeah, absolutely. So anything with a battery, but it might not be classed as hazmat. So if it's got a battery, you might be able to send it into FBA. So it doesn't necessarily mean it will be hazmat, but you're absolutely right. It is what Amazon considers to be dangerous goods. So evening, Lee. Corin says, thanks, Karen. Kieran's watching. Adam. So we've asked about price gouging. Glenn says, can you use the second account for luxury items only? I'm going to go ahead and say no. If it's OA, definitely not. Has to be a clear definition. I think me and Karen are both on the same side of the fence on that one. Definitely.
I think so, yeah. I think
I've heard people say yes, you can, but you're not going to hear us saying that because
no. I think you need to email Amazon and tell them what your intentions are and see what they say. Maybe they will come back and say, actually, do you know what? That's okay, but get it in writing, Glenn, because it's too grey an area to be sure. Get it in writing.
Definitely. So Sean says, I'm keeping FBA off in Europe now. Then I'll take Karen's advice and be careful. Do you know what I think that? And again, I've seen people saying, "Oh, put it back on and do this and do that," and it's fine. You got to remember, guys, France still isn't even up and running yet. In my opinion, Germany's the market that I'm missing most definitely. It's like obviously the biggest honeypot in Europe. Italy, I'm not a huge fan of anyway, because all the packages tend to get returned because they got a rubbish postal system there. Sorry, I'm not generalizing the whole of the Italian postal system before anyone jumps on me, but we tend to see a lot of returns from that at the moment. And the UK market's good at the moment. So sometimes, you know, we look to Europe to make sales when prices may have gone down, and yeah, absolutely, and I think people might be missing that at the moment. But you know, this pandemic is affecting so many people in the UK that there's definitely, in my opinion, enough of the UK business to go around at the moment. Not saying
though, having said that, we had someone who, and I don't want to misquote him, but somebody who signed up for Profit Protector Pro who was saying that before using PPP, their European sales were only 5% of their total sales.
Yeah, and I know the number. I remembered it. It was Philip Dyke, 17%.
Yeah. So we say that, but equally, he's taken business to a whole new level by doing FBA in Europe. So.
Yeah. And that's 17%. You know, that is a big jump. Absolutely. I've always been a cautious seller. I've always erred on the side of caution. And, you know, I think it served me well over the years. I've touched wood, never had a suspension, touch wood, never had, you know, any issues with regards to that. But at the same time, probably I have missed out on areas because I've not been as adventurous with certain areas or whatever. For me, it was cut and dry. Just cut off Europe until they kind of sort themselves out. I'm not telling everyone to do it. Absolutely not. It's got to be down to your own, you know, your own feelings on it as well. I would probably say my only bit of extra thing that I would add to that, and again, I don't want to scare anyone, is that you've probably got less chance if you've got of getting these kind of infractions if you've got a good selling history. If you've got a slightly aged account, you know, me and Luke Duggan have talked about that quite a lot on these kind of episodes, which obviously not everyone can account for, but certainly, even with you saying it, Karen, you're seeing less of it. I've seen less people talking about it across Secret Wealth Project, across some of the other groups in the American market. Less people are talking about it, so the risk is going away. But maybe just start in Germany. I would say that's probably the better market to start with if you're going to do it, and kind of slowly kind of ratchet up from there. But if you don't need the market at the moment, stay out of it. That's what I kind of think anyway. Right. Okay. Karen says, I've been taking photos of my shipments for quite a while. Came into its own the other week when I received a notification said that I had sent double the amount of 2 items, requested a recount, and sorry, I just received a message when I got that. They had sent requested a recount. And photos from the fulfillment center, none supplied, all got sorted. Seller Central colleague said that was the only way to solve some shipping issues, a good practice, but the photos on my phone aren't particularly interesting. No, definitely not. I'd imagine you just keep going through. I was like, oh, lovely beach scene, lovely kids. Oh, bundle of Dove shampoo. You know, you just maybe get a throwaway burner phone to take the pictures on or something like that. So Adam says, how do I price my items to avoid suspension for price gouge? And I know there's a good recommendation you give for this, Karen.
Well, I think I would say look through and see what the highest selling price of that product is on Amazon is the first thing to do. So don't ever go higher than that. But Amazon, when they're looking at price gouging, don't only look at Amazon prices, they look at retailer prices and the recommended retail price as well, which is a bit of a bugger for us.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not so bad looking at other retailers. So have a look at other retailers and see what they're doing, and then look at the highest price on Amazon. Never go over the highest price on Amazon, you know, and know that anything over what it's selling for generally in around the world, in the UK, is going to potentially cause you some challenges. But we've got to take a gamble to a degree, because if you're literally just going to sell at the same price as the retail stores, then the business model's not there. So you're going to have to take a bit of a gamble, but don't ever go higher than the highest seller on Amazon for FBA.
Yeah, cool. Completely agree. It's only when you say it, then it just makes total sense, like common sense, doesn't it? You know, it's hopefully not going to get triggered from that point of view.
No guarantee, but it's definitely going to get triggered if you go any higher. So
yeah, definitely. Corin said Google worked for us for Translate. There we go.
Great. Fabulous.
So yeah, hit the nail on the head. Just copy and paste.
Copy and paste. That's what we like.
There we go. Super simple. Glenn says, Karen, is OAD still in operation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going for it.
I wonder if Glenn means, is it available for new signups?
It is currently closed, but you can join the wait list, and then as people leave, we let people in. So you can join the wait list on onlinearbitragedeals.com, and then we let people in. But yes, it's still going. We're still working hard. We're doing everything we've always done. So we're absolutely doing our best every single day.
And I kick myself if I don't ask it. Any update on? I'm going to ask it. Any update on OAD 2.0?
Coming very soon, because it was we wanted to do it a couple of months ago, but obviously everything went bonkers and our plans got changed as well. The world just changed. So we are looking at pretty soon. The plans are coming along well. I'm excited by the stuff that we're going to do, and I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to share it all. So cool. We're working on it.
Definitely look forward to that. I think I've figured it out actually while we've been on here tonight, because I've asked you loads of questions about trying to get you to spill the goss on certain things, and I think I figured out you'd be an amazing politician, Karen.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got any more goss.
I think you'd be amazing. You're really good at answering a question to make it sound like you're giving us loads of detail, but you're not telling us anything. You're keeping it all, you're keeping it all for the big reveal, which we absolutely love anyway. So, so what do they do if they want to join the wait list for onlinearbitrage.deals.com?
You can join the wait list by email, by clicking on the join wait list on the website, or you can email us on info@onlinearbitragedeals.com, and we'll take care of you.
Cool, absolutely. So Matt says Russ said the same. I think his are like 50% LOL. So is that's
PPP working on his European sales. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so maybe shut my mouth and no one listen to me. I think it sounds like
everyone does it differently, don't they? That's the whole point, and it's great to hear how different people work and different people do different things. But so some people are getting brilliant success in Europe right now, and I'm excited that PPP is helping them achieve that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some amazing feedback, and I think it's Hayden, who I'm not sure if he's watching tonight. I don't know if I've seen your name pop up, Hayden. Apologies.
I did see him earlier.
Evening. I think Hayden had been using another repricer, no names mentioned, been using another repricer and switched over to PPP after essentially me and Matt bullied him into it. I think on this episode a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about PPP, and he was asking questions about it. We don't bully anyone into anything before anyone says anything, but he joined on, and last week had his best sales week ever.
Yeah,
and I think a few people have said, well, if you've not been, because it is true, if you've not been using a repricer before, then you will see an actual uplift in sales anyway, because obviously it's responsive software and it's taking action that you can't physically do as quick if you are manually doing it. So you're naturally going to do that. But he was already using a repricer. So it's not a case of it was, he hadn't been using one. So great for seeing that, and thank you for posting the feedback on that. I'm sure the team at PPP appreciates seeing that.
Oh, we loved it, and there was someone the other day that said they've been using a repricer for a couple of years, and they've just blown away when they switched to PPP and what it was achieving for them. I'm so proud of PPP. I love it. I'm genuinely so proud of it. So proud of what it achieves for sellers.
And it is, I suppose, because you don't really the other software that you do with BuyBot Pro, you know what a game-changing impact. We know what a game-changing impact that has on people's businesses, but it's not really a fanfare type of result people see with it, do they? Because it's just something you do and it becomes part of everyday life, knowing that BuyBot Pro is just working that hard and getting those, making those decisions for you. Whereas with PPP, you're seeing these really big changes in your business and you're seeing these big results. But don't forget about BuyBot Pro, because that's doing the heavy lifting at the start of the process, and then obviously Profit Protector Pro is picking up the slack at the end of it, I suppose.
Absolutely. Profit Protector Pro is amazing. I absolutely love it.
Definitely. Right. So David says, not missing using Google Translate every other day, selling in the UK only. So because of PPP. Yeah. Matt says, price gouging. What's the best way to avoid it in your own marketplace using PPP? So I think we sort of that would be the same answer as the UK. Just kind of have a look at what the maximum selling price is in Europe, just to kind of re-clarify that, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your pricing fair, and then fingers crossed you'll be all right, even if you do get into trouble with Amazon.
Yeah. So Emmanuel said, if you're not selling in the EU, especially in Germany, big mistake in my honest opinion. Toys are flying out at the moment. So yeah, absolutely. Toys might be a little bit quieter in the UK. So guys, do whatever feels right. Do whatever feels comfortable, and whatever's right for your business. So Son's joined us evening, Son. Alison, hello. Paul says, on beauty products, do you have to put a separate label for expiration date, or can you just put it online? So just put it online. So if Amazon requests an expiry date, it will be requested during the complete shipment process. So once you're putting in your box weights, once you're putting in your box contents information, that's where they will ask for it there. From a beauty point of view, a lot of people don't actually know this, that beauty products do actually have expiry dates, and there is a website that you can go to look up the batch of the beauty product. It's a legal requirement, a batch, that you can look up the batch of that specific. Now that's what Amazon is technically asking for an expiry date, but nobody does it. All anyone does for beauty is they just take that little symbol on the back of the product that says 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, and add a couple of months on and just put that in as the expiry date, unless it's suntan lotion, which actually does have an expiry date on it. So that has to be used. So make sure if you have got suntan lotion, it does expire and you have to put that actual date on it. So just hot tip there for anyone that's selling suntan lotion. Ada Ronco's joined us evening. So Matt says, what is PPP? If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Absolutely. So Sean says, PPP is awesome. Definitely one of my favorites. You've all done. I love it. Definitely.
We love it too.
PPP is magic. A lot of love for PPP tonight. Definitely. Yeah. And I think probably that's where more people are noticing the impacts of PPP, because there is a bit more competition at the moment, since obviously more sellers have coming back on. So it's PPP time to shine really at the moment. And everyone, if you know what I'm going to say, if everyone loves a little bit of PPP magic, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. If you know. And we've got two really big features coming into PPP soon. Next two on the list are amazing features. So we're gonna. Shall I tell you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I really thought you're not going to tell us.
I'm not a politician. Shall I tell you?
Yeah. Tell us, because I do you know what I was going to say after that? I was going to say, but you're not going to tell us. Tell us. Okay, cool. Do it.
Right. So the next big feature we're going to put in Profit Protector Pro is going to be the ability to auto-populate your minimums and your maximums and put it all in there for you across all marketplaces. So it's going to do that all, work it all out for you, potentially with, I don't know, we haven't quite worked out how it's all going to happen yet, but that's the plan, is to auto-populate your figures for you, so you haven't got to worry so much about you haven't got to sit in there and put them all in manually, because that's obviously, it's worth doing because of what PPP is achieving, but we want to take some of that workload off our clients so they don't have to do that quite so much. So we're going to work on a way of doing that so they can put in possibly their required ROI, and then we'll calculate it all and work it all out and put it all in there for them. But we'll see.
Wow, so that is awesome. So like one button, 50% ROI, don't need to worry about that. Yeah.
Something like that. I'm not sure quite how it's going to work yet, because the developers are working on some other bits and pieces now. So we're going to put this, they're going to start on this probably next week. So by then we'll have worked out exactly how it's going to work, and then they'll start on that, building that feature in for us next week. And then once that feature is in and out to everybody, and great. And the next feature after that is going to be probably custom strategies. So you are going to be able to build your own custom strategy. So that's going to be really, really exciting. And even more than that, we have a feature going live this week, which is going to give you the option to bulk do things with your ASIN. So you can bulk delete them out of PPP, bulk switch them on or switch them off, and do all stuff like that. So that's going live this week. And then next week we'll start on the auto-populating of the figures. And after that, it's going to be the custom strategies. That's the plan at the moment.
Amazing. Well, thank you for letting us know that, because I think especially with the bulk upload of the figures as well, because I understand why some people who may be hesitant to switch from a different repricer, and especially if you've got a lot of SKUs and things like that, that can be their biggest bugbear, is like, well, I spent hours doing it last time. I don't want to go back through and do that individually. So rest assured, guys, there's not going to be any reason not to jump over and join Profit Protector Pro soon, because you will literally be able to flick a switch and change it all over. Now, of course, obviously, you'll want to, at some point, maybe go back in and look at them individually, but you'll be able to have the freedom and your own time to be able to do that. So fantastic feature. And I think that'll be a huge, a benefit to anyone that's going to be coming on board as well. Brilliant. Love it. Right. So let's finish up these questions, because otherwise we'll be on here all night, which I don't mind. So, Matt says bulk uploads already in there now. I didn't know that feature was already in there, so apologies for that. So you can automatically change it to a certain ROI at the moment?
No, what you can do is you can download your PPP inventory. You can change your minimum, your maximum, and your strategy in a Excel file or a CSV file.
Right.
And then you can reload it up to Profit Protector Pro.
Ah, right. Yeah, sorry, I got confused on that. So, yeah, no, absolutely. That's fine then. So, yeah, thanks for that clarification, Matt. So Adarunko says, Matt, where have I been? Oh yeah, Profit Protector Pro. Carl says, sounds good. There was a question here. Just wanted to bring up, look at me with my technology, just got to figure out the name thing, and then we'll 100% be there. So this is one for you, Karen. Think my question disappeared for some reason. Sorry, I probably missed it. It was my fault. Would you recommend a new starter getting OAD deals and BuyBot Pro straight away, or waiting a few months to build capital, making consistent sales, then invest into getting the software?
I would say that if you're a brand new seller, BuyBot Pro is absolutely, totally and utterly what you need. 100%. It will save you way, way, way more than it costs you, because you're going to make mistakes in bad buys and stuff. You need all the information that BuyBot Pro gives you to make good decisions. It will save you so much money, much money. So absolutely, BuyBot Pro is required, I think, from day one to make your online arbitrage business a success as quick as possible. But otherwise, you make mistakes.
100%. I can completely agree with that. Completely back that up. And I just wanted to add, before you answer about OA deals, is that without a doubt, the biggest mistake that any new starters make, not taking away from buying decisions, is down to miscalculation of fees. 100%. That is the biggest mistakes. And I'm not joking. I have seen people sell for 3 to 6 months, not knowing the fees that they thought that they should have been paying. Because obviously, when you first start selling on Amazon, the disbursements are off, and if you're not really keeping an eye on it, it's quite easily missed. So having a piece of kit just to accurately calculate those fees from day one is 100% going to, save you in your business and save you from making costly mistakes. And that's just that one feature in it. So, you know, I'm not going to go on and say what all the other features are, but that for a new seller, yeah, absolutely. That's something that's just an absolute no-brainer. But I'll let you answer about OAD now anyway.
Well, people don't take into account the VAT on the Amazon fees when they first
absolutely.
out, and then there's your profit gone probably. So absolutely, Bybot Pro, get it. You'll be so glad you did. You really will.
That was the fee in particular I was referring to, is the VAT on fees, but then secondly also the EFM fees, accurately knowing what they are as well. For those of you that are selling in Europe at the moment, especially new sellers and things like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
New sellers, mate, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. Online arbitrage deals depends on your budget, to be honest. So online arbitrage deals is great at finding new deals. But if you've got a small budget, then you shouldn't get online arbitrage deals to start with, because you'll end up using up your budget on software and services, and you want to use up your budget buying products. So if you don't have a good, you know, a nice reasonable amount of money to start your business with, then get Bybot Pro and use the manual sourcing feature within Bybot Pro to do your sourcing, and that will help you find products to make good decisions on your products. You'll find what you need to be able to sell to make your money. Build up your inventory, build up your profit. Once you've done all that, then online arbitrage deals is an amazing way to save time, because you'll find that sourcing is really quite time consuming. And online arbitrage deals is a great way to save time. But unless you've got a big budget, you should start with Bybot Pro and the manual sourcing feature, and then go to onlinearbitragedeals.com later when you've built up your budget a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think getting PPP when you've got 10 or 15 SKUs, something like that, that is then a good investment to make, because that will then, Profit Protector Pro consistently gets you sales above the buy box. So it will make you more money all the time and pay for itself very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back with the OAD deals as well, it's something that is a really valuable service to have in Q4 as well, because there are normally an abundance of deals. And even someone, you know me, I'm a manual sourcer, essentially. That's essentially what I am. But I can't physically get around that many deals in that time. It's impossible. I only dedicate 2 hours a day to sourcing. So you do need a little bit of help. And it's also great to be able to have from, especially, I don't want to contradict what you said, Karen, because obviously I completely agree with that advice, because it's budget dependent at the end of the day. But it does give you great leads, does give you great ideas of where to look for certain deals and things like that as well. So, but completely agree, something has to be budget dependent, because you don't want your budget being sucked up and you can't buy anything at the end of the day. So,
of course, you need to build your business, so you need to think about that as well. So, but yeah, start with Bybot Pro and the manual sourcing accelerator. It's an amazing feature. It will really help you source. And then as you build your business and you want to save your time, then onlinearbitragedeals.com is a great option at that point.
Cool. Thank you for answering that. So Emma says, sounds really good with the minimums and maximums. Would be great to have some sort of override button for the products that you don't want in your auto minimums and maximums too. Looking forward to the new features.
Yeah, I mean, don't switch everything on. You'd have to go through and check it all anyway. We're not going to go crazy with people's accounts. That's not the idea. The idea is to save you some time, not take over managing your account. So, but yeah, we'll add that as a good idea. We'll add that in and include that in our thoughts that are happening this week about that feature.
Yeah, definitely. And Matt's already replied to Emma just to say that everything will be editable. Don't worry, you'll just be able to, for example, set my minimum to £1 profit, that type of thing. Yeah, exactly. Sean says he loves the PPP message he got when he logged in to make more profit with the other strategies. So that's a nice feature to have. So Josh has said it's been answered now. That's fine. Oh, I think it must have been Josh that asked that question. Steve GJ's joined us. So evening, Steve. Salim says, any plans for an on-screen calculator on the inventory page so we can change individual ASINs, minimums, maximums? Don't know if I got that.
Not sure I quite understand what that would be for.
No.
Maybe it's an ROI calculator or something she's looking for.
Let's have a look. Possibly. Any plans on-screen calculator on the inventory? Oh, I think for PPP, it is.
I think for PPP, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry, I see.
I think to work out ROIs and such like.
Yeah.
There isn't yet, but it's now on our feature list because
there we go, Celine. Thank you. Yes.
So there is now.
Absolutely, always a great suggestion. So these guys at BuyBot Pro and PPP, they always take on the suggestions, you know, and try and implement as much as you can, obviously. So Emma says that's a nice touch. Matt says manual sourcing accelerator is the next. I think we might be getting to the end of the comments now. Thanks for answering. Josh says, Adaronke, any idea when the mobile app BuyBot Pro will be available? So we've talked about that a little bit. Karen's totally promised it's going to be July.
Karen totally didn't, but Karen is very hopeful. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So even Matt said hopefully July that'll be something. But we all know these guys are going to be working hard. You know, you want the software out. It's not like you're keeping it back deliberately. You know, it's because you're only going to release it when you know it's 100% ready.
Absolutely, we are. Absolutely, we are.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we will draw a line under the comments. I think it's just testament to how much you've been missed, Karen, with the amount of people that have been on tonight, sort of people coming on, coming off, asking questions. Now, I've got to apologize to everyone because I did promise we would talk a little bit about time management, ironically, tonight, considering we're so far over our time slot. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to save that a little bit back for next week as well, because otherwise we will be on here all night. But I have also made a YouTube video this week for time management on that's going to go on the Secret Wealth YouTube channel. So I'm not going to leave you hanging, and I promise we will talk about it a little bit more next week. So apologies that we didn't get round to it, but obviously we have to deal with the questions that are being asked, and everyone was so keen to get Karen's expertise with regards to ungating, suspensions, BuyBot Pro, Profit Protector Pro, online arbitrage deals.com. Had to take advantage. Well, I promise it's my bad. I am not going to leave it this long to have Karen on next time. I just assume all the time. Well, I know how busy you are, Karen. But we will make sure that we have you on. Definitely, we won't leave the gap as long next time. But thank you very much for giving up 2 hours of your very precious time to spend it with me this evening.
Oh, it's been amazing. I've loved it. I've loved spending time with you and with everybody else. It's been great to be back. Thank you all very much.
Absolutely. And I'm just pleased the new software sort of worked. We're going to look into a little bit more about fixing this name thing, because I know it can be done. I 100% know it can be done. And as of next week, once the new YouTube channel has been connected, then for those of you that want to be able to, you will be able to watch this live via YouTube. If you want to watch the replay again, if you've only joined us at the last minute, then you will be able to find that. I think it's instant. I think as soon as I stop pressing live, it goes into the video section of the Facebook group, so you can go back and watch it over and over to your heart's content. But thank you so much, Karen, for, like I said, spending the evening. Good night, everyone, and I enjoyed it. Stay safe, everyone, and we will all see you soon. Take care.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.